So President Yoon's appearance at the hearing today will mark his third trip out of the Seoul Detention Center, where he's currently being detained. We go live there with our Kim Jung-sil standing by. Hello there, Jung-sil.
Hi, Dami.
So, Jung-sil, all eyes are again on the detention center ahead of his travel to the Constitutional Court later this afternoon. How are things looking there this morning?
Well, Dami, behind me is the gate where President Yoon is currently detained. And to my right, there had been less than a dozen supporters, around 8 people, holding up signs supporting, I think, President Yoon. And they earlier got into an argument and with people that are protesting against. They seem to be supporters of President Yoon for quite some time because they were coming up to us and asking us who we are. And they were also telling us their stories that they were here also yesterday. I also want to mention something that we're just learning, that the CIO may hand over President Yoon's case to the prosecution as early as today. A briefing is scheduled for 11 a.m., so we will have to bring you more updates in our later broadcast. This decision may have come as the CIO suffers from public backlash for their failed attempts to investigate President Yoon for the third time as of yesterday. Well, legal basis had been we see that people are screaming just there. A legal basis had been that the CIO lacks authority to investigate the president, or that he cannot investigate charges of insurrection. This follows attempts to search presidential residence, also and the office for evidence, which were blocked by the presidential office. Now, take a listen to CIO Chief Oh Dong-woon, who spoke to reporters yesterday.
I believe the presidential office also needs to respect the decisions of the judiciary. The CIO will thoroughly investigate anyone involved in the emergency martial law incidents, regardless of their position or rank.
Now, with no success in their attempts to question Yoon or search the presidential office and residence, it's possible the CIO may be handing over the investigation for a swift transition and to avoid more criticism.
Right, it's been such a headache for investigators to question and bring Yoon out of the detention center by force. That's why they are handing over the questioning part to the prosecution. Now, that's all because they are also almost running out of time, right?
Yes. At this time, it's unclear whether the CIO will attempt another search because there is a briefing scheduled for 11 a.m. And also, it announces that the deadline for the CIO to hold the case was until next Tuesday, as you mentioned. So that was the deadline. But if the decision comes this 11, it came a lot sooner, given that the CIO is under public scrutiny and is getting a lot of backlash for the investigation being in a stalemate situation. And the prosecution pledged for a swift investigation and even pledged for investigating President Yoon even during the Seollal holidays, where many eyes will be on this particular case.
Looks like it's going to be another busy day at the Seoul detention today. Now, Jung-sil, walk us through the investigation into the recent unrest at the Seoul Western District Court. What's the latest?
Dami, there has been a significant update on that front following the release of arrest warrant of President Yoon. At the weekend, protesters stormed into the Seoul Western District Court. I'm sure the video has been released of policemen being assaulted, and the police in total arrested 56 people for trespassing, assaulting police officers, or damaging the court property. Now, there were also incidents of individuals asserting journalistic crews or attempting to breach court security. Now, the authorities are taking swift action to prevent further disturbances. To my right, there are many policemen, 10 of them, and then there were also a 911 truck standing by in case of any potential clashes. Now, that's all I have for this hour, but we'll bring you more updates in our later broadcast.
Alrighty, thank you, Jung-sil, for the update. We will check in back with you later as the story develops.